Good afternoon, everyone. Well, first of all, I have to say that all of the presentations I've seen today were tremendously good, and I'm really happy to be part of this event. I hope that my presentation today will show you how we address the ever-changing needs of the market, which goes even beyond the quality nuances, where sustainability is the actual burning necessity of the smoke-free future. So in our evolving world, the demand for ethical and sustainable practices is transforming the industries across the whole globe, and the NGP industry is no exception. It also requires a responsible and sustainable practices at its core. Today I am excited to tell you more and discuss the increasing role of the sustainable, traceable and compliant nicotine, and why is it becoming more and more important for our industry. But it's not only about the compliance at all, it's also about the pioneering the future, where nicotine manufacturing is actually both innovative and responsible, but at the same time giving us this assurance that we provide a sustainable product to our end consumers. I am rather sure that majority of us here today knows what the ESG stands for. But why is it necessary for the companies to implement the sustainable practices? And there are actually 2 points. First one is pretty obvious. The big companies, the large publicly listed entities, they must fulfill the expectations of the stakeholders. And the stakeholders and the public in our global economy requires the sustainability as a natural development of the situation. Secondly, there is the most demanding regulatory right now in European Union that is called Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive, and this imposes a specific acting ways that the companies must obey and be sustainable to. So how does this ESG influence actually the NGP industry? The tobacco industry has been evolving around the ESG for a very, very long time. And over the last decades, we've built more awareness globally that this increasing transition from the regular combustible products towards this NGP products is just simply inevitable. This smoke-free progress that we observe today built the actual ground for this transformational approach about the ESG requirements. And what we're seeing today is that the basic and best practices from the tobacco industry are being copied and pasted into the NGP industry. So when you think about what is the actual product, what is the actual result of the sustainable approach within the company, you may think of things like, for example, heat-not-burn products, the e-liquids or the nicotine pouches that you can buy in a chain store, or let's say the innovative products like STC Nicotine. But as you can see on the slide, it's just the top of the iceberg. It's what you see on a daily basis. But when you deep a little bit deeper and when you look what's behind the curtain, that's when you see that these are only the outcomes of the massive tasks and policies and strategies and things on the operational level that the companies must obey and do in order to make sure that at the end of this process they obtain the actual sustainable product. So let me tell you now how Chemnovatic found its way for sustainable nicotine manufacturing from the actual leaf to the final product. And let's start with the slide. So in the very beginning of the project, it was very apparent for us, and we understood that we cannot compete with the regions that cultivate the tobacco leaves for the use in the combustible products. It was also very aware to us that the main target for our feedstock material for the nicotine manufacturing is supposed to have the highest possible nicotine concentration that there is. And thanks to our analysis and legwork and due diligence that we've spent time to encounter, we figure out that the best region to start our STC supply chain and implement it is going to be the Gujarat region in India. And let me tell you in 3 points why it's that. The first one is, as you can see on the map, it's located in the northern part of India, and that means that it's not fully under the jurisdiction of the tobacco board that is locally located on the southern part. Secondly, when we visited this region and audited all of the links across the supply chain that we that we wanted to implement in our supply chain, we understood that the tobacco plants that they're using and cultivating is actually having much higher nicotine contents compared to the ones that are cultivated in the south. It was ranging from 3 to 5%. And for us, that was a huge deal breaker, because it meant that from the same volume of the material, we are able to obtain much higher amount of the end product. And last but not least, obviously, when we visited there, we understood that this region is very aware of all the ESG principles and requirements. The farmers were aware of the sustainability approaches and practices. They have a lot of systems implemented already, so it was a natural step for us towards choosing this region. So when we secured our strategic partnerships with the audited and chosen partners in Gujarat region, we were able to address three main pillars of the sustainability aspect. So the first one was the farming practices. And from the very beginning, it was very important for us to make sure that the farmers that are cultivating the tobacco plants for our purpose, so the nicotine manufacturing, they will be having the contract with our partners on a very global standard level. So in other words, it will be a fair cooperation with the partners. They will have a fair remuneration for their work, so they can make a living at the desired level. Secondly, our goal was to reduce the carbon footprint in our implemented STC supply chain. And one of the examples that the farmers that work with us are implementing is they're using a specifically designed drones that are flying over the fields and gathering the live data from the soil, from the crops. And based on that data, the actual farmers can determine very specifically what amount of water, fertilizers, substances the actual field needs at the desired level. This allows to reduce water and substances and gas and fuels that are needed to work on the farm and deliver the needed ingredients inside the soil. And last but not least, obviously, the local communities. So together with our team, together with our partner in India, it was very important for us to support local communities. And we're doing this by providing clean water, providing the access to the sanitation and educational aspect. We've took up 2 initiatives with the partner that are supporting the schooling, as well as we open new alternatives for the farmers to gain a new income sources. Moving down to the traceability, as you may imagine, the nicotine manufacturing process is quite complex. It has a lot of stages. So in our case, as a Chemnovatic, everything that is happening after the nicotine sulfate extraction, distillation, purification is handled by us here in Poland. However, everything that is happening before that is happening in the Gujarat region. So it was a natural challenge for us to address that and make sure that all the standards that we wanted to have in our STC supply chain will actually going to be installed there. And we've actually managed to accomplish that, and we've done it by setting up a dedicated team that is locally installed in Gujarat. And they are on a daily basis overseeing all of the actions, not only when it comes to the traceability, but also the actual sustainability and daily operations. One of the examples of the system or tools that are used by the farmers that support the traceability are the farm monitoring system. So thanks to that system, we have the access to the farm or the fields that the specific batch of the leaves were coming from. We have the access to the quality documentation, or we can see how much water usage was actually consumed for the specific field. The world expects sustainability, and it's the responsibility of the leaders of the market, so the corporate clients and the customers and the companies, to make sure that they deliver that. It's a natural thing for them that they work with partners and suppliers, and they expect the same from these entities. We as a Chemnovatic, we understand our role. We want to be a partner to all of these entities, and we want to make sure that we are compliant with their expectations. It goes without saying that sustainability and the whole ESG aspect is very important, but it's only one of the areas that is very demanding and crucial for the growing NGP industry. I would love to tell you more about other projects and initiatives with the global partners that we've taken, but I don't have enough time today, I believe. Therefore, I hope that next year when we're going to meet here, I'll be able to tell you more about all the successes and the outcomes of that, or maybe you will be able to experience or even benefit from them yourself. The necessity to use sustainably sourced nicotine in the retail products is more important now than ever. the demand for the environmentally friendly products is growing, not only across the corporate clients or the businesses, but also across the regular consumers. This is the perfect time to make sure that your NGP products are made with the sustainably and responsibly sourced nicotine. Thank you very much.